Can't get a pulse on her.
Can't get a pulse. Pulse to the side of the neck, yeah.
Looks like she's shot in the neck.
A young woman raised her voice through the drive-thru speaker asking Taco Bell staff to call 911. Seconds later, a gun flashed, and silence followed. Her name was Megan Keleman. This video depicts a real-life shooting with details that may be disturbing or upsetting. We do not show injuries, but the content may still evoke strong emotions. Please watch when you are ready. It was supposed to be a quick stop at Taco Bell, just another weeknight errand, but for one young woman in Ohio, that short drive turned into the final moments of her life.
Somebody was murdered in front of the Taco Bell on Graham Road.
After a violent collision with the rear of the car, a man emerged, holding what is believed to be a weapon.
The reality is criminals can get anything they want on the black market.
We all know criminals will try to get away with anything they want, and sometimes that leads to irreversible consequences. The victim was 25-year-old Megan Keleman, a recent Cleveland State University graduate. She had just earned her MBA in business administration after completing a degree in finance and financial management. In her spare time, Megan volunteered as a running coach for young girls, teaching them confidence, discipline, and strength. Her friends say she had a calm energy and a heart for helping others, the kind of person you instantly trusted. That Wednesday night, August 14th, Megan drove to her local Taco Bell in Stow, Ohio, about 45 minutes south of Cleveland. Her dog was with her, sitting in the passenger seat. It was supposed to be just another evening out. But witnesses say around 7:30 p.m., Megan Keleman drove into line at Taco Bell. Shortly after, another car pulled up behind her. The driver was identified as Jason Williams, 53. As Keleman approached the speaker to place her order, Williams began honking his horn repeatedly, clearly annoyed. The situation escalated when he crashed his car into the back of hers. Startled, Megan spoke through the drive-thru intercom asking Taco Bell staff to call 911. She told them her car had just been hit. Moments later, Williams stepped out, walked up to her window, and fired his gun without a word. The bullet struck her in the neck. She didn't survive.
All deaths are senseless, in my opinion, right? No one deserves to die. But this one, I mean, there is just absolutely no motive. As convoluted, right, as some of them are in the cases we talk about, there is nothing that I can see in this other than it sounds to me like someone became frustrated that she was taking too long in the drive-thru line.
As we look back at what happened, we reached out to Tracy Walder, a former CIA officer and former FBI agent. She said it was a largely senseless case with no apparent motive, and what pained her most was that it echoed similar tragedies in the past. Cases where the victim was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yes, road rage is kind of one of the first things that came to me, especially because it seems to me, based on the reporting, that witnesses were said that they heard him honking at her. So either something transpired that they didn't see, or he just felt that she was taking too long. I don't know the answer to that question because that hasn't been reported, but it's been reported in multiple locations and by people that they did hear him honk. So it does seem to me that this is a road rage, possibly unprovoked road rage incident.
Before things got out of hand, Williams honked his horn multiple times and collided with Kellerman's car, actions that seemed to indicate a loss of control and a tendency to escalate the situation.
I don't mean to sound cavalier, but yes, in my opinion, if somebody is going to go to the point to rear-end your vehicle, inflict damage on their vehicle and yours, then in my opinion, it can escalate to anything. And she did tell the drive-thru individuals, to call the police when that rear-ending happened. And I just think that, in my opinion, in this day and age, you cannot be too careful with drivers being aggressive. You just can't. And you have to think that it is going to go to the most horrible place, which in this case it did.
According to the investigation records, there were 14 911 calls made in just a few minutes. Witnesses, in panic, simultaneously reported the incident to the police, which they described as unbelievable.
No, the person in the car behind us. Somebody was murdered, and the murderer just killed themselves in front of the Taco Bell on Graham Road.
You said Taco Bell on Graham?
Yeah. There was just a murder, and the murderer just killed himself in our drive-thru right now.
Yep, we've got police and fire on their way. They're going to be there as soon as they can. Can I get your
Please hurry
name?
up. This is an emergency, please.
The audio you're about to hear comes from another witness at the scene. A word of caution. This content may be sensitive and disturbing to some viewers.
I'm at the Taco Bell on Graham Road and Hudson Drive, and a man just shot somebody and then shot himself in the head.
Do you have a description?
I didn't see very much. I just saw that he was bald. His car's in the drive-thru. I'm sorry, I'm really shaken up. And he had a black shirt on, and I just watched him shoot himself in the head.
Okay, and both subjects are still there, correct?
Yeah, the guy's like dead in the drive-thru. I don't know where the other person is, but he shot somebody and then he just put the gun under his chin and he shot himself in the head.
What makes this case particularly puzzling is that no clear motive has been established. At a press conference following Kellerman's death, police said they may never know what truly led to the tragedy. According to current investigation information, Williams and Kellerman had no previous connection.
I think that makes it scarier to everyone. We actually had this exact same thing happen that I was a witness to about a year ago. On my way to my Pilates class at 5 a.m., there was a shooting right in front of me at a McDonald's drive-thru, but it was a gang shooting. And so our neighborhood at first, until people could figure out what had gone on, were very, very scared because they thought that this killer who was killing random people was on the loose. It's not to say that gang members deserve to die. They absolutely don't. But when news of this came out, that this was a gang-on-gang violence situation, our community sort of was at ease a bit more, and that people were able to say, okay, well, I'm not in that gang, and I'm not in that rival gang, so therefore I could be protected. Right now, when you don't have a situation like that and it's purely a random crime, you feel like it's a free-for-all, that anybody could be a target at that point. And so I think that's probably why it's so scary. In a lot of these cases, one of the things that helps these victims, their lives are never going to be the same in any way, shape, or form, is this sense of applying justice to who did that. But him choosing his own form of justice is another way of taking power away from this victim's family.
Williams had a troubled past with the law before the incident. Records show he had been arrested several times, the most recent being on March 26th of this year.
How much have you had to drink tonight? Enough to be bad? Okay.
Williams was stopped by police for reckless driving. When officers approached the car window, they detected a strong odor of alcohol. Although Williams refused a breath test, a subsequent test showed his blood alcohol level was 0.199, nearly 3 times the legal limit. Inside the car, officers found an open bottle of rum, a loaded Glock 30, and multiple magazines. The gun police say was stolen. Williams faced multiple charges: driving under the influence, refusing a breath test, and illegally possessing a firearm.
Stop the car. What are you doing? Put your hands on the wheel for me. Put your hands on the wheel. On the wheel. What are you doing, sir? You're driving the wrong way on a one-way street. What are you doing? Sir, can you answer me? Do you know why you're going the wrong way on a one-way?
I'm sorry.
123 radio, can I get it back? Do you know why?
No.
Okay. I'm Officer Hill Hudson Police. I stopped you for a multitude of things, including stopping in the middle of the road, going through a stop sign, and then now you're driving the wrong way on a one-way street. Do you have your driver's license?
I'll start that way as well.
Where are you trying to go? Huh?
Home.
Where's home?
Aurora.
Aurora?
Yes.
Where are you coming from? Where are you coming from?
Aurora. I'm sorry.
No, you said you're trying to go home to Aurora.
Yes.
Where are you coming from?
Aurora.
Okay, where did you go to? Where was your stop? Sir,
115 radio, yeah.
can you answer me that? Where was your stop?
My stop was Aurora.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. You came from Aurora, but you're going to Aurora, and your stop was in Aurora. Do you know where you are right now?
Yes, I am.
Where?
I'm here in Hudson.
Okay. So what brought you to right here is what my question is.
I'm trying to get home to Aurora.
Okay, but what brought you here to Hudson?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? Okay, how much have you had to drink tonight? Enough to be bad? Okay. All right, do you have the truck in park? Okay, can you turn it off for me?
Yes.
All right. All right, I'm just gonna have you sit right there for a second, okay?
I'm sorry.
All right, I'll be back to you. All right, so what's your first name again?
Jason.
Jason. All right, I'm gonna have you step out for me, okay?
Okay.
You don't have any weapons on you, right?
No, of course not.
Okay, just making sure. All right, do you want to set your phone down there and step out for me?
Sure.
Okay. Watch your step there. There's a curb here. We're gonna go on this sidewalk right over here, okay?
Okay.
Is your door okay, or do you want me to shut it for you?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm good.
We'll shut it for you, okay? All right, Jason. All right, Jason. Can you stand over here for me?
Sure.
Can you stand right here in front of me?
Sure.
And face toward me, okay? All right.
Mm-hmm.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm trying to find the flattest area. Maybe up a little more? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't want you to fall.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. You're okay right there?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. I'm going to run you through some tests, okay? To see if you're okay to continue driving.
128.
Okay?
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that?
No.
You're not going to do my tests?
No.
Okay. You're not going to let me check your eyes or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Is there a reason why?
I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that?
Nope.
But you don't have a reason why?
No.
Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, based off my observations of your driving behavior, my observations of your behavior standing right here, and your admission to drinking more than you should have,
Yeah.
I'm going to place you under arrest if you're not going to do my tests.
Sure.
If you're going to do my tests, it'll give you a chance to show me that you're not impaired.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to do the test?
No, I don't want to.
Okay. Turn around then.
Okay.
Okay. Turn your wrist for me. Just like this.
Yeah.
Easy does it. Have a seat right in here, okay?
Thank you. Let's start.
Wash your head there. There you go. All right, sir. All right, you're under arrest for operating a vehicle while impaired, okay?
He was arrested on multiple things: driving the wrong way, triple the legal limit of alcohol, a loaded weapon in his vehicle, all of those things, watches, expensive watches, all found in his vehicle. Why he was let out on bond is beyond me. This person is a clear danger. And one of those things was that he was not to own a gun. That was part of his bond. And so this was an individual that was facing possibly some prison time. I don't know what his family situation was. I don't know what his economic situation was, but those could all be contributive factors to this spiraling, I guess. I hate to sound trite, but you really can't prevent that. I don't know how you would, because there's an entire black market for stolen weapons, and it's very easy to come by them, particularly handguns, revolvers, those kinds of things. The reality is criminals can get anything they want on the black market, and so it's not surprising to me one bit that he had a weapon, which again, that's why I disagree, quite frankly, with him being allowed on bond, because the reality is it is so easy for a criminal to get these things. So I'm not one bit surprised that he had a weapon on his person.
Investigators said Williams claimed he was experiencing a crisis at the time of the incident, but did not provide further details. I asked expert Tracy Walder what that statement might mean and whether it might have anything to do with Williams's subsequent actions.
I think, as you mentioned before, this was an individual in crisis, and what he had been arrested for in the past, I'm not minimizing it at all, but it was drunk driving, it was theft, it was having a weapon that wasn't registered, those kinds of things. He hadn't been arrested for attempted murder, battery, assault, those kinds of things. And so I think this is obviously huge escalation, right, in his behavior. And I think that this was his kind of last straw, if you will. I don't think he wanted to go back to prison, but I also think he couldn't control a lot of his thoughts and his emotions. And so I think part of this was feeling badly about what he did, and then the other part was not wanting to go back to prison, because he obviously would have.
After causing the incident that ended Kellerman, Williams turned it on himself. A new detail has emerged. Jason Williams was on a court-ordered alcohol monitoring ankle bracelet at the time of the incident at the Taco Bell in Stow. According to records, he wore the device from May 7th to August 16th, 2 days after the incident. Oriana House spokeswoman Linda Wayant said the system is not continuously monitored, unlike the GPS devices used by probationers. This raises the question, was there a chance this tragedy could have been prevented?
He saw somebody and then he just put the gun under his chin and he shot himself in the head.
Body camera video shows the moment first responders arrived.
Let FD know. Is FD approaching? They're clear.
Out of respect for the victims and viewers, we chose not to release much of the body camera footage, as it was too heartbreaking. The image of first responders gently rescuing Kellerman's dog.
I'm staying on the line. I'm coming right up there. No, don't disconnect.
You get it? Yeah. They're both victims. Other one's on the ground. On the ground over there.
He will not face any criminal charges in connection with Kellerman's death, but the question remains, who else could be held responsible in the case?
If anything, in my opinion, it would be about the acquisition of the gun, since he is by law not allowed to have it. They may, trace serial numbers, trace where he purchased it from, electronic transfers, all of that, and that person could potentially be held accountable, although they're not prosecuted a lot of times, and that's obviously very frustrating. But I think you're right, in my opinion, the only potential lead I could see them going off of is the gun. So my guess is the time of day that this occurred, there's a lot of witnesses to interview. Also, I am certain that Taco Bell had CCTV cameras or some type of security cameras up. I also think too, I would not be surprised if the victim was using her phone during this incident to either contact police herself, contact loved ones, contact, hey, this crazy person is behind me. I would not be surprised at all. And I also think one of the things, because they're probably having a hard time doing this, is determining motive. Has he committed other crimes that they don't know about, right? That they're going to try to figure out, or is this just sort of a one-off? And so I think the motive is key. And I think because I really do believe they didn't know each other, that's going to take some time in this case.
We asked Tracy Walder, if someone finds themselves in a similar situation to Kellerman, what should they do to keep themselves safe?
Absolutely not victim shaming at all. She didn't deserve anything that happened to her, and in my opinion, did absolutely nothing wrong. But I think just for people in general, for safety, I think a couple things that we can think about. I actually did look at this Taco Bell, and I looked at the drive-thru, and it actually wasn't, I think what you're referring to is just that kind of narrow lane where there's nowhere to go on either side. There was sort of another parking lot, if you will, like off to the right of her. And so I think in that case, the horn is maybe one thing, but I think once he rammed her vehicle, in my opinion, the best thing to do is to get away. Get away as fast as you can. And so that means physically getting out of the line, forgoing your order, eating the cost of that, and leaving the scene. physically removing yourself from the scene, because what that is telling me is this is not a stable person who's behind me. I cannot predict that they are going to act rationally in this situation. Therefore, I'm going to remove myself, the known entity in this situation, from it. And so I think that's the best thing to do. I also think there was nothing wrong with her asking the drive-thru attendant to contact 911. You may want to ask them first to do that and then leave the scene, because he could be a danger to other people as well.
The murder of Megan Keleman remains unsolved. The real motive remains a mystery. But amid the unanswered questions, a new line of inquiry has emerged. The investigation into Williams' psychology and whether his state of mind could explain his fateful actions.
What I think we believe is we're going to see that this is an individual who was in the midst of, as you mentioned, a full-fledged crisis, and that is the motive here. That's what I think they're going to find. They're probably diving deep into his social media if he has it. I know he's in his 50s, I believe, so he may or may not have been, an avid digital media user. I don't know. But again, all of those things.
Megan Kellerman's family filed a lawsuit saying the legal system failed to protect their daughter. In their lawsuit, they allege that Jason Williams was never fitted with a Scram alcohol monitoring device, despite a court order. Attorney Rebecca J. Srimak, who represents the family, said she would file an amendment if new evidence comes to light. The biggest question, she said, is why he had alcohol in his car on the day of the incident. Judge Joy Malik Oldfield had previously ordered Williams to abstain from alcohol while awaiting trial on charges of driving under the influence and carrying a weapon. The Kellemans believe the system failed. Williams has been arrested multiple times and has admitted to police that he intended to harm himself. Now they want more than just justice for Megan. They want to change red flag laws, giving judges the power to temporarily confiscate weapons from people who appear dangerous. They're also calling for changes to drive-through lanes to ensure there's always a safe lane for people who need to leave in an emergency. Friends, family, and community members held a candlelight vigil to honor Kellerman. Her visitation is scheduled for Wednesday, followed by a formal funeral. In this true crime documentary, we revisit the night Megan Kellerman's life ended and ask why no one stopped Jason Williams before it was too late. Before we end, please remember that this story is presented to inform, not to sensationalize. The footage and accounts shown here are real, but they don't define everyone involved. Some of the language or descriptions may sound outdated or harsh, yet they remain part of the original record. By showing things as they were, we hope to promote understanding, not judgment.